Hey there, welcome to another KOIN Conversation. I'm Anthony Castro, one of the anchors here for KOIN 6 in Portland CW. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with the new co-CEOs of the Portland Japanese Gardens. That's Lisa Christie. Lisa, wave for us if you would. And then Aki Nakanishi.
Hi.
Did I do it? Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. This is so exciting, I think, for the gardens and having you as these two new co-CEOs. Tell us a little bit about that. Why two? Why this partnership?
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're both thrilled to be here. I think I speak for both of us on this one. But to your point, I don't always speak for all of the things here happening at the garden. And that was, this is a bicultural organization. We span two different cultures, and that's purposeful. There's a lot going on here. And so it just made sense for us as an organization for there to be two leaders that we can allows us to specialize in our own complementary strengths. That we both bring to the table that creates this holistic experience. So,
I like that. Aki, anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, it kind of lets us lead at, full strength on all fronts at once, if you like, both operationally and geographically, which is kind of huge, right? Lisa drives operational excellence and the guest experience, and I drive cultural and educational stewardship here. And together we move faster, be more present with staff and community, and keep both the garden and the mission advancing without one side sort of getting shortchanged, if you like. So yeah, that's the kind of general idea behind it.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. And for people who don't know, this isn't just sort of like something that just is a one-off. You all have been working together, I think, for something like 7 years, if I understand correctly. What has that experience been like, and how are you hoping that experience kind of leads us in this new phase of the Japanese Gardens?
yeah, absolutely. We couldn't have done this without knowing each other and building that trust over the last 7, 8 years of working together. And I know the strengths and the talents that Aki brings every day, and that empowers me and enables me to do what I do really well. And we get along so well. So yeah, this works because we've been here, we've been doing this for a while, and we know each other.
And that's always helpful. It's nice when you know
We
the
like
person
each
that you're
other so
co-leading
much, too.
with, right?
It's really the trust, I guess, the spirit of collaboration. To really sum it up, the past 7.5 years of this enormous, honor of having worked alongside Lisa Christie. We have built this amazing cornerstone of trust, I suppose, that's critical to any kind of leadership, right? And I really do think the trust is really built in those small moments. So it's not like one big thing that built everything, actually, but it's the accumulation of those small moments that really got us where we are today.
Yeah, we kind of got right into it. I was talking about you in these new positions, and I guess we should kind of backtrack a little bit because I'm in Portland. We've obviously here at KOIN done lots of stories with the Japanese Gardens. We're out there every fall. It is so beautiful. But for people who aren't familiar, who maybe haven't visited, how would you describe what the gardens are and kind of what the purpose is behind it?
Hmm.
A loaded question, I know, and either of you can answer.
You want to go first, Lisa?
Go for it.
About the garden itself, I mean, yeah, it was built as a kind of sign of reconciliation and friendship between two nations. Obviously, with a very bitter history about 75 years ago. But after one of the largest, if not the largest, calamity of human history, how two nations, two different cultures can come together on this platform, embodied by a beautiful Japanese garden. That was really the original ethos about 64 years ago when it was established right here in the city of Portland by a group of civic leaders who came together to really think about how we can build the cornerstone of trust. In a way, Lisa and I are embodying together as co-leaders of the organization. That spirit was already there at the very inception of this place. And ever since then, it has grown to become one of the largest Japanese garden and culture organizations in North America, which is pretty incredible, actually. And we do keep getting up to 450,000 people each year through the gate to discover the beauty of this landscape, as well as how the programs that to do with Japanese culture and tradition can animate the entire space here for people to really experience and immerse themselves in a new culture they haven't really experienced before.
Yeah, and it really is. It's such a staple. And as you mentioned, 450,000 people through the gates. I mean, that's pretty significant. Lisa, anything to add to that? And I think as you think about how you want to respond, I guess my other question to that would be, how has that changed in today's global climate as well? Because there's just so much happening.
Well, that in itself is a big question. To add on what Aki said, the Portland Japanese Garden was created by the community and for the community as a place of peace and reconciliation. We've remained that today. It is, it's important for people to know it's built for all seasons, so you can come anytime throughout the year, and there's always something to see, whether it's the changing seasons of nature or the cultural programs that you can experience here, the demonstrations of ikebana and our musicians, of tea ceremony, or the art exhibitions that are put on to share Japanese art and craft. That's so special. We do garden workshops and programs and lectures. A lot of things happening here. So it is a beautiful place to come visit, and it's a place where you can experience so much more. But to your other question, though, I think this place is as relevant now as ever before. In fact, in many ways more so. It is a place that, because you can experience another culture, that's an important thing right now, a way to open our minds to another culture that keeps us open to new ideas, to new perspectives. That's, I think, a critical function of what's happening in the world today in our climate. But also being a place dedicated to quiet, to serenity, to peace is so essential. I think the world is it's a noisy place right now. It is a chaotic place. We are being bombarded by a lot of information, headlines, noise, filled with violence, filled with troubling information, filled with confusing information. And we really need a place now more than ever to disconnect, to reset, to find some quiet, to find some place where you can reset and recharge, make sense of that noise, that confusing information, so that rest and reset allows you to go back out in the world and do the good work that you need to do as an individual and as a society to make this a better place for all of us, a better community. So it's a lot to unpack in your question. We feel that we are as relevant, if not more so today than ever before, and just as essential.
I think that's well said. I like that aspect of the rest and reset, because I think if you're not familiar, some people might think that you have to go on some long adventure to get down to the Japanese gardens, and it is like smack central. Old Town, Chinatown really is where it's at. And I feel like there's been so much conversation about that whole area over the last few years, and you all have done such... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll just make a slight change there.
Yeah.
We're located up here in Washington Park, just a couple miles away from downtown.
I knew that.
And which is great for us because we're surrounded by the beautiful nature of Washington Park.
That's right.
That you've come to enjoy so much here, and we love being a neighbor to all of the organizations around here, including the Rose Garden, which is a nice compliment.
Thank you for correcting me, Lisa, because you're absolutely right. And the point still stands is that you are centrally located, for
Yes,
anyone
so
really
close.
in the Portland metro, and you're right there. And so you don't have to go far. You really can take that rest and reset, and it's not far at all. I know that you've previously described the garden as a platform for civil discourse. And with that in mind, what kind of conversations do you hope comes from that as people maybe take some time and go to reflect or just to rest and reset, as you previously mentioned?
Interesting. I could take this one. Yes. Shall I go, Lisa? Okay, yeah. I mean, like I was kind of alluding to earlier, Portland has built something the world truly recognizes these days, right? This garden is a true global brand, kind of rooted in a local community that really prides itself in the way it leads the conversations on important things like environment and sustainability, as well as human well-being. So while sharing the ideas of beauty, as defined by Japanese traditions and culture, it really behooves us to also lead the way in redefining what gardening can do for civic discourse, like you said earlier, around those core issues, as well as offering the peace and serenity of the garden itself. So in a nutshell, we are looking at conversations that are grounded in big concepts like, how we care for our land, how we design public spaces for belonging, how culture can reduce division, and that sort of things that are really critical to the current society, the modern society that we share together, is what we mean really by encouraging civic discourse, using the garden as a platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I follow, and it's neutral, right? And I think it probably kind of plays into, I think Lisa was just saying, like, anymore, it feels like so often people are just charged with lots of emotion and just lots of feelings and almost a sense of like overwhelm. So to kind of take that out of the equation and to find kind of like a neutral spot, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah,
So I totally get it.
definitely. Yeah, I think gardens are such an unassuming place, actually. People don't come to the garden thinking they're going to engage in a debate.
Right, right.
Yeah, they come here to leave something behind, to feel something that's larger than themselves, right? Usually. So when we represent or present something other than the garden pure experience itself, it's usually taken with a little bit of, I don't know, inspirational feel. There's something to be said about, going into the garden to talk to people you like and then just appreciate what's around you. So I think to find that little connection with nature while also connecting with other people who appreciate the same thing, I think that's a basic level of mutual understanding right there. So that kind of gives us an opportunity to then talk about things other than the pure garden experience, if that also makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really well said, Aki. I really appreciate that. Lisa
you.
mentioned a couple minutes ago just about some of the programming that you all offer. And I think I read there's something like 250 events roughly that you all host and provide for every year. Can you kind of walk us through again some of the examples of that and what you all are hoping for in the future?
Aki, I'm going to let you take this one because you really oversee so much of all of our programming and do such a great job working with the cultural teams and the art teams and the garden training center. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I can give you this recording later too, Aki, if you need it. Just if it ever comes up, you have it on record.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So having grown to become one of the largest garden culture organizations, at least in North America, we do, all these 250 or close to 250 different programs each year. But we need to also point out that almost 200 of those programs are kind of smaller, what we call bite-sized cultural performances and demonstrations, ranging from the flower arranging like Lisa talked about earlier, or music, tea ceremony, calligraphy performances, and so forth. So they're all designed as programs that people stumble upon when they come to the garden, basically. So no registration, no reservation required. But for larger programs like exhibitions, forums that we are putting together, for example, next week, seminars and other type of workshops, we use a simpler kind of filter, I guess, Does it really serve our mission the way we want it to? And also the quality that we strive for, as well as the human capacity. We only have so many staff members. So how can we do more with less? Or how can we do less with kind of more impact in terms of kind of bang for the buck, if you like, for any kind of program we do? So that's the sort of thing that goes into, I guess, conceptualization, ideation of these different programs. So if an idea actually deepens cultural understanding and serves the public well, and we can deliver it, at our self-defined standard without stretching our staff capacity, we basically lean into these ideas, new ideas. So we are constantly talking to people in our community to talk about programs that are really relevant for what people are going through. So yeah, I guess I wanted to just point out some of the kind of standards or criteria whenever we think about new programs here at the Garden.
Yeah,
You do a great job
there's
of working
intentional.
with a lot
Okay.
of partners around the community, as you referenced, Aki. And I know that the team really, to that point, while thinking about the capacity, but also thinking about the standard and what people are looking for, and looking for these new opportunities to share Japanese culture in ways that are so relevant with what people are going through. I think about the kintsugi workshop. Kintsugi, for those who are unfamiliar with the concept, is the art of mending broken items with gold, the gold connection. I'm not getting the words correctly, but it's this gold painting that mends broken items and essentially making them more beautiful than they were before, highlighting the brokenness as something to celebrate. And that has been a particularly meaningful workshop that you guys have been doing now for, I think, a couple of years. Because this idea of like not just throwing something away, but actually celebrating the fact, yep, it's not perfect. And that's what makes it even more beautiful. That's been an exceptionally relevant message to people. And so I really appreciate how the culture team is constantly looking for those ways to share very essential and very core Japanese principles and culture in ways that are really relevant and modern to people.
I think that's really well said, Lisa. And kind of the point that I was making just a little bit earlier is, and you kind of reiterate it, is like there's just a lot of intention behind it. It's not just doing something to do something. You do it because it's meaningful and you know that you can do it. And if you can execute it well, then that's when you're really going to dive all in. And I think that's really commendable. On that note, I'm curious to know how the community can support you, because I imagine it takes a lot of volunteers as well as your own staff, and I imagine you all rely on donations and grants and all sorts of funding options to really try
Anthony,
to continue
you're
that.
hired. Great job. I love all of those things you just said. As we stated from the beginning, we are an organization that was created by the community for the community, and we're supported by the community as well. Coming to visit is a way to support us. 25% of our overall budget, what makes us able to offer those extra special things, comes from donations. And we're super grateful, very grateful to our community for stepping forth and supporting us with memberships, with donations, with their visitation, with their volunteer hours. We really have a remarkable community here in Portland, throughout the country, and we even have supporters from around the world. Folks from Japan to London who see that what we provide for culture and society overall is really special and really important. So yeah, if any of your viewers out there want to support us in any of those ways, we are grateful for it, and thank you.
Well, yeah, hopefully that it will help get the word out. Aki, is there anything else you want to add to that end? Because I know, as you're talking about all that programming, you benefit as well in terms of trying to get some of these ideas off the ground.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we rely on amazing amount of generosity from people, from all walks of life, actually, who don't
Good.
necessarily have experience in Japan or with any exposure to Japanese culture before, but they do find this through line, I suppose, in terms of what we are trying to do, not just to promote Japanese gardens or Japanese ideas in the city of Portland or state of Oregon, but we are always trying to find those common threads that really speak to the local crowd here in terms of preservation of culture, craftsmanship. That is already an integral part of the culture within the Pacific Northwest area. So I guess we are constantly trying to find those commonalities where we can work together within. And that's when I think people from all walks of life, tend to come together in support of our, grassroots activities, actually, beyond what makes commercial sense, basically. So yeah, like Lisa said earlier, certain percentage, as much as quarter of our revenue comes from people's generous ideas and intentions. So, we are ever so thankful for those people who always come forward to support what it is that we do for the community.
Yeah. And like Lisa said, if you need that rest and reset, it's close. That's a great option. And obviously, just going is a way to show support as well. I'm curious to know, with all that in mind, we've covered so much ground already. I guess looking forward for the next 5, 10, 15 years, what is your hope? We're talking about expanding some of this programming. We're talking about kind of even getting beyond the garden and really into the community, having some of those conversations, that rest and reset. Where do we go after we've accomplished all of that, in the next couple decades?
We've been talking about this a lot, Aki and I, as we've approached taking on the co-CEO positions here at Portland Japanese Garden. And what we're really coming back to is, as Aki said earlier, exploring what makes this garden so special, and that is the benefits of a Japanese garden. We think about the mental and physical well-being that comes from it. We think about the curiosity that is sparked by the cultural programming. We think about the conversations that can be had when you have those your physical and mental well-being solved. Defenses are lowered, your feelings are good, you're so much more open to having conversations. So these are the things that we want to see happen more. We have programs started in Japan also, and we'd like to continue expanding that. And working with other great gardens throughout Japan and throughout North America to do what we're doing throughout the country. Just to name a couple things.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Can you kind of expand on that and what that looks like, and the partnership too of just sharing information and getting inspiration from those other organizations?
I'm going to throw that to you, Aki.
Okay.
You're up, Aki.
Yeah, I honestly, there's nothing I love more than these intriguing conversations, actually, getting engaged in these, simulating conversations. So, yeah, but I guess in a nutshell, I think it comes down to meeting people where they are, right? Us going beyond the garden borders, garden boundaries to really meet people where they are, schools, other cultural organizations, academic establishments, or neighborhoods through numerous partnerships right here in Portland, as well as across the nation, like Lisa alluded to earlier, also including across the Pacific, because we are doing a number of different projects throughout Japan as well. So we contribute, with all these different programs, we contribute to the cultural vibrancy of this city in a more visible and dynamic way, while also making the garden truly shared civic asset, by which I mean programs that people can access without having to come to the garden. So these partnerships actually do create an opportunity for many other different communities that don't necessarily have the easy access to the physical garden itself. So that's one area we are trying to kind of grow into. Also, speaking of partnership, many people don't know about this, but there are at least 250 public Japanese gardens throughout North America. And not many Japanese gardens in North America are as fortunate as we are. So through the professional partnership with, people like North American Japanese Garden Association, we are actually reaching out to other public Japanese gardens to, share our resources, ideas, exchange views and ideas with other peer organizations to really raise the entire tide. So not just one ship, is raised, but also entire fleets of ships are raised with more affinity, more familiarity with what it is that Japanese garden can offer to their respective communities. So, these partnerships actually mean just as much as doing something at the very garden here we serve.
Yeah, I did not know that. 250 is a lot, and I'm sure
Right?
you all would agree with me saying, I mean, I haven't been to all 250, but I'm sure Portland is the best, or at least in the top 5, hopefully, right? Yeah, setting the bar for everybody else. Lisa answered this question, Aki, but I'll just give you an opportunity as well. Looking ahead for that benchmark, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you all are already doing so much. There's already so many partnerships. Where do you go, and what does that success look like in a couple decades from now?
Couple decades. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I know. Listen, you got to think about the
Yeah.
future long term, right?
Yeah, I love these big ideas as well, actually. Yeah, we are exploring, how the garden can support things like well-being, like Lisa was alluding to earlier, well-being, resilience in very practical ways, using a garden as that kind of platform. So things like garden therapy is about using nature as a kind of proven support system for mental and physical health and strength. So in that regard, we are already beginning our conversations with medical institutions, for example, that are faced with burnouts across their own medical professional communities. So we are right now having a conversation with these folks, designing programs to really address these areas of concern. Using mindfulness tools and, for example, guided meditation using the garden. So for us, human sort of self-care is definitely one of the, I should say, areas of focus, really. And of course, sustainable garden training as an idea is something that we are increasingly looking into as well, as we try to expand the programmatic horizon of what we call training center that we have instigated a few years ago, but because of COVID, everything got kind of sidetracked. But we are putting that back on track, which is all about teaching the next generation of horticulturalists, garden professionals, landscape architects, and likes, right? Who are acutely sort of in tune with what it is that we are going through as a society, including climate change. So teaching climate smart practices in those workshops and seminars will be just as important as offering that serene garden experience that we do here. So stewardship of the environment is something that we are taking very seriously. But at the same time, what that serene garden and atmosphere can do for human mental well-being is also another area of big focus for all of us, actually.
Yeah, I appreciate how simpatico you both are, because it really is. I see the shared vision, and even just to Lisa's point a little bit ago, just about how much noise there is and really how can you prioritize getting to some of that quiet. And obviously the gardens are a great place to do that. For people who want to get involved, they want to follow along, they want to get up to date with all the great things that you guys are doing, what's the best way to do that?
We have a number of platforms for to meet people where they are with the information they're looking for. We have a weekly email that goes out that just keeps people updated on events, programs, ideas. We try to keep it varied with everything from an inspirational photograph to an inspirational workshop. Whatever it happens to be, we have that weekly email, so you can go on our website and sign up for that. And while you're on our website, that's a great place and a great resource for a lot of information, whether it's a deep dive into Japanese culture or just what hours are you open. So it's a good resource there. Social media is always, that's the way we all stay stay updated
Yeah, right.
on information. So whether it's on Instagram, Portland Japanese Garden, Facebook, TikTok, I'm sure there's more,
I
honestly,
know.
but who can keep track of it all?
I know.
We try to make sure that we have information easily accessible to people so that you don't have to search very far for it.
Yeah, that's always very helpful, and it is very important. And we'll post some of those links as well on KOIN.com. So for people who are watching and they want the newsletter,
I think people should also watch KOIN News to
That's-
find out more about.
listen, you heard it from Lisa Christie.
You guys are here, and we appreciate it. You come out here, and as you mentioned, you always cover fall colors.
Yes.
It's a great way to experience the garden. Of course, every season is a great way to experience the garden, but we appreciate you coming out because there's just nothing like walking through the garden.
Yeah.
No photos do it justice. No Instagram. No, as great as KOIN is.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Sometimes you just have to see things in person for your own eyes, and that is true. Yeah, and it is. I mean, we really love it. We have this whole segment called Positively Portland, and just even trying to highlight the great treasures in our own backyard, and I think the gardens are certainly part of that. So thank you both for your time, and congratulations on your new roles. Very excited for each of you, and excited to see where this journey takes you. It'll be great.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
No.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Aki. I cut you off. What's that?
No, I really appreciate, the time together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking to you guys very soon. Lots of fun and exciting things coming up. All right, Lisa and Aki, thank you again. And thank you for joining us here on this episode of KOIN Conversations. I'm Anthony Costura. We'll see you next time.